Hey everyone, Pioneer, and Forsaken needs no introduction. If you have subjected any of your gray matter to anything Roblox related, you have most definitely heard about it, whether you like it or not. Hell, you've probably even heard about it even if you're not on Roblox. Meaning that this is yet another Roblox game to breach containment and reach a wider demographic. But why is Forsaken so popular? Is it just another overrated insert buzzword here followed by the word slob type of game? Or is it something special? But first, we must answer the question, what is a Forsaken? Forsaken is yet another asymmetrical horror, in the biggest air quotes ever, Dead by Daylight inspired game. Much different from other Roblox games of a similar design by being actually good. Trapped in purgatory, you must fight for survival against a killer that wants nothing more than to frame your head above the mantle. As a survivor, you must do everything and anything in your power to not get killed. Whether that be fixing generators to reduce time or supporting other survivors so they don't die a horrible death. While the killer's job is to do what comes naturally. Survivor gameplay is extremely basic when you boil it down. All survivors have to do is to survive until time runs out. However, there are multiple other things one can do while in a round. Generators can be found around the map. Working on them pops up the menu for like one of those generic mobile games. Completing them decreases the time by 5 seconds and gives some money and XP as a bonus. Another thing you can find around the map are Bloxy-Colas and medkits. Bloxy-Colas give you an added speed boost while medkits heal you. Nothing to note other than the medkits sporting the red cross, meaning that this game technically violates the Geneva Convention.
Hey guys, guess what they changed? Guess what they changed, guys? Guess what they changed?
The killer gameplay is even more basic than the survivor gameplay. You just go around and kill people. I mean, what did you expect? During a round, if the killer kills all but one survivor, last man standing will trigger. The timer changes from its previous duration to a bit over a minute, and both the killer and survivor are highlighted, now firmly cementing the cat and mouse chase style of gameplay. Honestly, I feel that this is the part of the game that contains the highest of highs or the lowest of lows, depending on how badly you lose. Overall, not that special of a concept, but I think what truly saves the gameplay loop from getting too stale is the characters you can choose from. At the time of writing, there are 10 survivors and 5 killers to choose from, with more planned to be added. Survivors have been grouped into 3 classes, that being Survivalist, focused on self-preservation above all, Sentinel, defending teammates against the killer, and Support. Take a wild guess. Killers have been grouped into classes because they all have unique playstyles that make it hard to generalize them. Now, I won't go over what every character does for the sake of time and people caring because you can just look at what they do in game, so I'll just summarize each character in one sentence or less. Noob, best survivalist in game, 007 and 7. Meet Potential Man, 2-time Paranoid Heavens game member known for breaking hitboxes and subsequently launching itself.
That should have not accounted as a fucking bat!
Shedletsky, just a solid pick all around, would recommend if you're getting used to the game. Guess 1 through 37, somehow gives people the biggest and most fragile ego ever. Chance, 90% of gamblers quit before stunning the killer. Elliot, a healer who actually gets the job done, another solid pick for beginners. Builderman, Engineer TF2. Dusakar, never makes it to last man standing. Taff, booby trapping my house for the feds. That was all of the survivors, now time to horribly summarize the killers. Slasher, previously called Jason, but changed because of, you know, copyright infringement. The worst starter character I've ever seen in any game. Cool Kid, good killer or bad survivor team, call it. John Doe went from the worst pick in game to a solid high A tier. 1x1x1x1. Ranged Hell. Noli. Cool kid, except he's pure
Crack!
Hey, they added 2 new characters while I was making this video. Veronica has people either swooning over her, or calling for the execution of this wire-backed tin-skin bolt-munching clanker. Guess 666. So-called strongest killer in game, gets countered by a rock. I know I didn't go into detail or share much of my thoughts on them, so here I guess. If you want to know how a character plays, just look for this book icon when you click on a character portrait in the store or inventory. It will go into more detail than I ever could. Alternatively, you can find a video about a character on YouTube. Okay, now with the hyper-detailed explanation for each playable character avoided and my credibility tarnished, let's go over the stuff I like and dislike about the game. Let it be known, I do like this game, and there are plenty of things to like about it. Starting off with the maps in the game, most of them are great in the gameplay and style department. And about the style, sure you could just say retro slop and move on with your life, but I think the maps pull it off well enough, at least it doesn't make my eyes bleed like other games that use a stud texture. But I think the maps that look the best are the ones that don't use the stud textures. And I mean only 2 of them. I'm grouping both these together since I have the exact same thing to say about them. They're good. You have both been hearing and seeing them throughout the video, and if you like them, more so with the music, then check them out in your own spare time. Everyone has already sung the praises of the music and UI, so what's more and more to add on? I have never played Dead by Daylight before, but I have played enough DBD clones on this lovely and cheerful platforms to have a feel for it. And I will say, I do like what they've done with the gameplay loop, turning it from a time-sink game of hide-and-seek to a more arcadey feel, more comparable to a game of tag. Makes it feel like you can just jump in and play, and it's also good for the average attention span of a Roblox player. Now, onto the part that everyone wants to hear, what I don't like about the game. Forsaken's balancing is just weird to the point it just makes me ask how this got past playtesting. This goes for characters, maps, game mechanics, and more. Although, I will say Forsaken's balancing has gotten leagues better from when I originally started this video. But even then, it feels like for every step taken, 2 steps are taken back. I have way too many gripes with this game's balancing, so they're all on screen now. Take a gander. Why did I say gander? Why? I think a lot of the, issues with balancing can just be alleviated by having more public playtest and, listening to community feedback more. Even for the double-edged sword that community feedback can be. This game is not hard to learn, but that's coming from someone who already knows the Dead by Daylight formula by heart. There are probably people who have played this game who don't even know what a Dead by Daylight is. The learning experience for this game is a bit rough, even for people who are aware of the DBD gameplay loop. You aren't told important features like the 0 stamina penalty, how to effectively play survivor or killer, or even a general gameplay synopsis. Really, throwing new players in the deep end and seeing if they'll swim. I guess you could say it's like you're in Forsaken in the vaguest sense, learning how the rules of the trials work and slowly conquering this purgatory realm. But then again, you could make the argument that Ivan the Terrible was hugging and caring about his son in that one painting. Even if they don't add a full-blown tutorial, a tips thing on the loading screen or in the lobby would be nice, along with a button on the side menu that gives a short gameplay synopsis. Honestly, I think this is the main issue with the game. All games have some repetitiveness baked into their design if we're being honest. It's what game developers do to make it more engaging than just the same task repeated over and over again. Forsaken does not have many elements that break up the usual gameplay loop of time survival. The only thing there is to do is time survival with the same mechanics again and again, with the only difference ever being map killers and the players. Not a lot of things that change, leading to people doing the same stuff over and over and around, repeating the same looping spots and just running in circles around a big rock or wall. I've lately been growing bored of the game because of the gameplay loop, because at the end of the day, each run is the same thing, just a little bit different than before. To sum it all up, Alexander the Great wept, for there are no more looping spots left to learn. To be fair, I don't think this is a problem specifically tailored to Forsaken, but this whole asymmetrical Dead by Daylight game bloat that's currently infesting Roblox. These games are just too formulaic to the point they all suffer from some kind of repetition. Honestly, I don't know how the devs would fix this, other than adding game modes to the game, which they're already doing. However, I don't think the repetition can be alleviated by just adding another killer to the round. Perhaps take more liberty when it comes to game modes, instead of it just being time survival but one new shiny bell is added to it. I would even be happy if they just added more objectives to the round instead of it just being generators. I have seen some people with some ungodly playtimes when it comes to Forsaken, so maybe I'm in the minority here. But I think it's more of a case of Roblox players refusing to play anything that's not on Roblox. And that should be all the positive and negative things I have to say. Although, I still feel like there's something I need to talk about. Something I've forgotten to mention until now. Oh, I know, skins! Character skins in Forsaken have always seemed like a strange case to me. On one hand, if you like how a character works but hate how they look, it's always nice to have another option to choose from. But on the other hand... Why? I'm fine with skins in games, as long as it's not implemented in a predatory way, and thankfully, they aren't implemented as such. There is controversy around skins, mostly what feels like blood around them. If they take up too much of the game's development time, favoritism towards characters gaining skins, and more. Frankly, I don't really care. I just use the skins I like. Skins are... oh fuck. Skins are handled by contributors with minimal coding, if at all. Still don't know how a single skin can break the entire game, but thus is the joy of game development. I will say the objective stupid thing about skins is that self-imposed skin recognition thing, because of the number of asterisks there are in skins that people like getting canned because of this rule. Which is just stupid. Wait, what? They removed that rule? Well, damn. Guess I should talk about something else. Wait. No, wait. I'm not really getting around to talking about this game's development team, am I? Originally, I structured the video around the Forsaken fandom being the central point, because that's what most people knew Forsaken for. Now, most people know it due to horrible people and management. Most of the modern day drama seems to be caused by two things: the original creator and owner of the most generic furry OC I have ever seen, soul-driven love, or horrible management of the game by the owners, of which a lot of it is connected back to soul-driven love. I won't talk about what Soul did because I know what Soul did, you know what Soul did, your grandma probably knows what Soul did. If you somehow still don't know, here's a video exposing Soul that is linked in the description. I think we all can agree that Soul, because of their actions, should not be trusted and stay off the internet as a whole, right? Not the current owners of the game though, despite Soul screwing them over and earning a stable 25% of the game's profits. Soul, despite everything, is still in contact with this game's development and staff, with one of the owners not seeming to care. So, when people found this out, to say people were upset is to call a hurricane a light shower. This was seemingly the straw that broke the camel's back for this game that really drove people away. Even with the 25% Soul tax, some people still held out hope, hoping the game would get better, but not anymore. In response to everyone pointing the blame at one developer who was still in contact with Soul, they threw him under the bus. They got fired, apparently not because of their association with Soul or even the owners caving to public demand, God forbid, but instead to save a possible Friday Night Funkin' collab. Anyways, people in the dev team who were also in contact with Soul didn't get the same treatment as that one developer, hence why I say they threw him under the bus. The management of this game is just rife with contradictions, double standards, and the worst logic and reasoning imaginable. Apparently, they could have just avoided the 25% soul-driven cancer tumor by just moving the game place and putting it under a different name, yet chose not to because apparently the game would die. Mind you, this game has over 1 billion visits, has a large cult following on and off Roblox, along with winning an innovation award. I've honestly have come to the conclusion that the management for this game are either apathetic towards Soul having partial control over this game, or just sympathetic towards Soul. If you haven't noticed, both of those options fucking suck. Once again, I originally tried not to talk about the drama surrounding this game. I tried to stay in the cave and just keep staring at the shadows on the walls. But eventually you will need to come out of the cave and face the facts. The facts being that this game's dev team is a complete fucking mess. I do truly like this game, it's decent fun, but I can in good faith recommend it to anyone because of how it's being handled. To keep it brief, shit sucks and it's not getting better unless the dev team is visited by 3 ghosts tonight. Oh yeah, I still need to give this game a score. Score out of 10, subject to change. Sorry this video took so long. I have no more excuses, I was just being lazy. The next review should have a way more positive tone and ending. I hope. Well, see you guys when I next upload in 33 and a half years. Happy New Year's.